What if I told you that long before the Egyptian pyramids rose from the desert sands, before the first cities we know of took shape, there were people who possessed extraordinary knowledge that simply vanished? Picture entire civilizations that disappeared without a trace, taking with them secrets that continue to baffle archaeologists and historians to this day. While we marvel at the monuments left behind by the Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, there's a deeper mystery lurking in our distant past, the story of advanced societies that somehow slipped through history's fingers. These weren't simple hunter-gatherer groups, but organized communities with sophisticated understanding of astronomy, architecture, and perhaps even sciences we're still trying to comprehend. Their disappearance raises profound questions about human civilization itself. How could entire societies, potentially as advanced as those we celebrate in our history books, vanish so completely? Where did they go? And perhaps most intriguingly, why didn't they leave behind grand monuments and artifacts like other ancient cultures? The evidence we do have paints a tantalizing picture of what might have been mysterious structures aligned with celestial bodies, inexplicably precise stone carvings, and artifacts that seem impossibly sophisticated for their age. These fragments challenge everything we thought we knew about human technological development and social organization. If you're captivated by historical mysteries and the untold stories of our ancestors, join us on the dawn of humankind as we unravel humanity's most intriguing secrets. Together, we'll explore the evidence for these lost civilizations and attempt to piece together one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. Hit that subscribe button and become part of our community of history enthusiasts as we journey back to the mysterious dawn of human civilization. Before the rise of the great civilizations we study in history books, our planet was home to remarkable communities that challenge our understanding of human development. Archaeological evidence suggests that between 14,000 and 5,000 years ago, sophisticated societies emerged across different regions of the world, mastering advanced techniques in agriculture, astronomy, and construction that would not be seen again for millennia. The period between 12,000 and 5,000 years ago was particularly crucial in human history, marked by dramatic climate changes as Earth transitioned out of the last ice age. During this time, global temperatures rose significantly, causing massive ice sheets to melt and sea levels to rise by up to 120 meters. This transformation reshaped coastlines, submerged vast territories, and dramatically altered landscapes across the planet. These environmental changes had profound effects on human populations. Coastal settlements that might have housed advanced societies were submerged beneath rising seas, while fertile valleys became deserts, and temperate regions transformed into frozen wastelands. The rapid climate fluctuations forced many communities to adapt or migrate, while others likely perished, taking their knowledge and achievements with them. Recent discoveries have revealed evidence of sophisticated architectural and astronomical knowledge dating back to this period. Sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey demonstrate that humans possess the ability to organize large workforces and create complex structures with precise astronomical alignments thousands of years before the accepted timeline of civilization's development. Similar sites have been discovered worldwide, suggesting a network of advanced societies existed far earlier than previously thought. The end of the last glacial maximum was particularly devastating for these early societies. As temperatures rose and ice sheets melted, entire regions that may have been centers of human achievement were lost beneath rising seas. Modern oceanographic surveys have identified numerous underwater structures that could be remnants of these lost civilizations, particularly along continental shelves that were once coastal plains. These dramatic climate changes didn't just affect the physical landscape, they transformed entire ecosystems. Plant and animal species that these early societies depended on either adapted, migrated, or went extinct. This ecological upheaval would have severely impacted agricultural practices and food security, potentially leading to the collapse of established communities. The archaeological record shows gaps during this period that researchers are still trying to understand. Sophisticated tools and artifacts sometimes appear in layers of earth, only to vanish from the record for thousands of years before similar technologies re-emerge. This pattern suggests that advanced knowledge and techniques may have been discovered, lost, and later rediscovered multiple times throughout human history. Today, we're still uncovering evidence of these lost societies. Advanced scientific techniques like satellite imagery and underwater archaeology are revealing new sites and artifacts that suggest our ancestors were far more capable than we once believed. Their story serves as both a fascinating mystery and a sobering reminder of how vulnerable human civilization can be to environmental change. Picture yourself standing on an ancient coastline 15,000 years ago, watching as a group of master navigators prepares their vessels for a journey across vast oceanic expanses. These weren't simple fishermen, but sophisticated mariners who had developed an intricate understanding of the natural world that wouldn't be matched until the great age of exploration, thousands of years later. These ancient seafarers possessed an extraordinary knowledge of maritime navigation that we're only now beginning to fully appreciate. They understood the complex patterns of ocean currents, reading the subtle changes in water temperature and color that indicated different streams. They had mastered the art of reading wave patterns, understanding how distant storms and underwater topography affected the movement of water across vast distances. Their astronomical knowledge was particularly remarkable. These people had mapped the night sky with incredible precision, understanding not just the movement of stars, but also their seasonal variations. They could predict lunar cycles with accuracy that rivaled modern calculations, using this knowledge to anticipate tidal patterns and plan their voyages. The positions of specific stars and constellations served as their celestial compass, allowing them to maintain accurate courses even when far from land. Evidence of their existence comes from multiple sources. Genetic studies of Pacific Island populations suggest organized sea travel occurred much earlier than previously thought. Archaeological findings of similar tools and technologies across vast oceanic distances indicate regular contact between far-flung communities. Ancient oral traditions speak of great navigators who could read the ocean as easily as we read a book. These maritime societies developed sophisticated vessels that could handle both coastal waters and open ocean conditions. They understood principles of hydrodynamics and ship construction that wouldn't be rediscovered until the age of modern naval architecture. Their boats were masterpieces of engineering, built without metal tools yet capable of surviving powerful storms and long voyages. But perhaps most intriguingly, they developed methods of preserving and passing down their knowledge through generations. They created complex memory systems, often encoding navigational information into songs, chants, and stories. These weren't just tales for entertainment. They were sophisticated educational tools that contained precise navigational data about currents, wind patterns, and star positions. The mystery of their disappearance deepens when we consider the scope of their achievements. How could such advanced knowledge be lost? Some theories suggest that rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age may have displaced these coastal communities, forcing them inland where their maritime knowledge became less relevant. Others propose that climate changes altered the patterns they relied upon, making their traditional navigation methods less reliable. Their legacy lives on in fragments. Some Pacific Island communities still preserve elements of traditional navigation that echo these ancient techniques. Occasionally, archaeologists discover artifacts that suggest capabilities far beyond what we traditionally attributed to ancient peoples. Sophisticated measuring tools, star charts, and navigation devices that hint at a lost world of maritime knowledge. These ancient mariners represent one of history's most intriguing mysteries, a civilization that achieved remarkable technological sophistication, only to vanish so completely that we can barely prove they existed. Their story reminds us that human achievement isn't a straight line of progress, but rather a complex web of discoveries, losses, and rediscoveries that spans the millennia of our existence. The technological achievements of prehistoric societies continue to challenge our understanding of human capabilities. Archaeological discoveries have revealed that ancient peoples possessed knowledge and skills that, by conventional timelines, shouldn't have been possible. These findings force us to reconsider not only what our ancestors could achieve, but also how advanced human civilization might have been thousands of years before the first known cities. Göbekli Tepe stands as perhaps the most striking example of unexpected prehistoric sophistication. Located in southern Turkey, this megalithic site was constructed over 12,000 years ago, predating Stonehenge by about 7,000 years. The site features massive T-shaped pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, arranged in precise circular patterns. The astronomical alignment of these structures demonstrates an advanced understanding of celestial mechanics that wouldn't be seen again until the rise of the Babylonian civilization thousands of years later. The construction techniques used at Göbekli Tepe were far ahead of their time. The builders possessed a sophisticated understanding of architecture and engineering, creating perfectly straight edges and smooth surfaces on massive stone blocks without metal tools. The precise astronomical alignments of the structures suggest they had developed complex mathematical concepts and could perform precise calculations to track celestial movements. But perhaps even more astonishing is the evidence of advanced medical knowledge possessed by prehistoric peoples. Across different continents, archaeologists have discovered skulls bearing marks of an ancient surgical procedure known as trepanation, the creation of holes in the cranium. What's remarkable isn't just that these surgeries were performed, but that many patients survived and recovered, as evidenced by the healing patterns visible in the bone. These ancient surgeons possessed detailed knowledge of human anatomy and surgical techniques that wouldn't be equaled until the modern era. They understood which areas of the skull could be safely cut, how to prevent infection, and how to ensure patient survival. Analysis of these skulls shows survival rates that sometimes exceeded 50%, a remarkable achievement for surgery performed without modern antiseptics or anesthesia. The technological sophistication extended to other fields as well. Evidence suggests these ancient peoples had developed advanced metallurgical techniques. In South America, artifacts have been discovered showing precise metalworking at a molecular level, something that shouldn't have been possible with the tools thought to be available at the time. Similarly, in various parts of the world, researchers have found evidence of complex chemical processes being used to create specific materials and compounds. Their understanding of acoustics was equally impressive. Many ancient structures, from caves to temples, show evidence of intentional acoustic engineering. These spaces were designed to produce specific sound effects, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of how sound waves travel and interact with different materials and spaces. The precision of their astronomical observations is particularly noteworthy. Sites around the world show evidence of structures aligned not just with obvious celestial events like solstices, but with complex astronomical cycles that take decades or even centuries to complete. This suggests these ancient peoples were capable of making and recording observations over extremely long periods, developing mathematical models to predict future celestial events. These technological achievements raise profound questions about the nature of human development. How did these ancient peoples acquire such knowledge? Why did some of these technologies seem to disappear, only to be rediscovered millennia later? The evidence suggests that human technological development isn't a simple linear progression, but rather a complex pattern of advances, losses, and rediscoveries. The sophisticated knowledge demonstrated by these prehistoric societies challenges our assumptions about the capabilities of ancient peoples. From surgical procedures to astronomical calculations, from architectural engineering to acoustic design, they showed levels of technological advancement that force us to reconsider the conventional timeline of human civilization's development. The end of the last ice age brought unprecedented challenges that would reshape human civilization in ways we are only beginning to understand. Imagine living through a period of such dramatic climate change that the very landscape around you transformed within a single human lifetime. This wasn't a gradual shift spanning centuries. In some cases, these changes occurred rapidly enough for people to witness their entire world transform before their eyes. As the massive ice sheets that had covered much of the northern hemisphere began to melt, the release of enormous volumes of water triggered catastrophic events across the globe. Sea levels didn't rise gradually year by year. There were periods of sudden, devastating surges known as meltwater pulses. During these events, ocean levels could rise by several meters in just a few decades, an almost incomprehensible rate of change for coastal communities. Consider the psychological impact on these ancient peoples. Imagine being part of a thriving coastal civilization, with established trading networks, architectural achievements, and agricultural systems, only to witness the sea steadily advancing inland, swallowing your ancestral lands meter by meter. Sacred sites, homes, and entire communities that had existed for generations would have disappeared beneath the rising waters. The archaeological evidence suggests that many advanced coastal societies faced this exact scenario. Areas that were once fertile coastal plains, supporting large populations with sophisticated cultural traditions, now lie hundreds of feet below sea level. Modern underwater archaeology is increasingly discovering evidence of these submerged settlements, stone structures, tools, and artifacts that tell the story of communities forced to abandon their homes to the advancing seas. These rising waters didn't just erase physical structures, they destroyed entire ways of life. Communities that had developed specialized knowledge about their local environments, fishing grounds, seasonal patterns, navigation routes, found their expertise rendered useless as familiar landscapes transformed into unfamiliar seabeds. Trading networks that had existed for generations were severed as coastal routes disappeared beneath the waves. The challenges weren't limited to coastal areas. As the climate changed, rainfall patterns shifted dramatically. Regions that had been fertile breadbaskets experienced prolonged droughts, while other areas faced unprecedented flooding. These changes forced communities to abandon long-established agricultural practices and either adapt or migrate to new territories. The migration of displaced populations led to complex social challenges. As groups moved inland, they would have encountered other communities, leading to potential conflicts over resources or the need to forge new alliances. Some groups may have successfully integrated their knowledge and traditions with those of inland populations, while others may have seen their cultural heritage diluted or lost entirely. Perhaps most tragically, these environmental challenges likely led to the loss of invaluable knowledge accumulated over thousands of years. Communities that had developed sophisticated understanding of astronomy, navigation, architecture, or medicine may have found their traditional knowledge irrelevant in their new environments. Without writing systems to preserve this information, entire bodies of knowledge could have been lost within a single generation. The speed of these changes would have been particularly challenging. Unlike modern societies that can document and preserve information through various media, these ancient communities relied primarily on oral traditions to transmit knowledge between generations. When social structures were disrupted by rapid environmental changes, these chains of knowledge transmission could be irreparably broken. These ancient climate refugees serve as a sobering reminder of humanity's vulnerability to environmental change. Their story is particularly relevant today, as we face our own climate crisis. The difference is that we now have the technology to document and understand these changes, and potentially the ability to prevent the worst outcomes, if we learn from the lessons of our ancestors who faced similar challenges millennia ago. The end of the Ice Age stands as one of humanity's greatest survival challenges, a period when entire civilizations had to adapt or perish in the face of rapid environmental change. While some communities successfully adapted or migrated, others vanished beneath the rising seas, taking with them knowledge and achievements that we can only speculate about today. The lessons from these lost civilizations resonate powerfully with our modern challenges. As we face our own climate crisis, the story of these ancient societies serves as both a warning and a source of wisdom. Their experiences demonstrate that even advanced civilizations can be vulnerable to environmental changes, regardless of their technological achievements or social sophistication. These prehistoric societies possessed remarkable knowledge in areas like astronomy, architecture, navigation, and medicine. Yet despite their achievements, they couldn't withstand the dramatic environmental shifts that transformed their world. Today, we find ourselves in a similar position, albeit with far more advanced technology at our disposal. We can model climate patterns, predict weather systems, and document our knowledge in ways our ancestors couldn't imagine. But does this technological advantage truly make us more resilient? The fate of these ancient peoples raises uncomfortable questions about our own civilization's vulnerability. Like them, we've built most of our major cities along coastlines. Our agricultural systems depend on predictable weather patterns. Our global economy relies on stable environmental conditions. While we can document and analyze these threats in unprecedented detail, our ability to respond to them effectively remains uncertain. Consider how these ancient societies attempted to preserve their knowledge. They developed sophisticated oral traditions, encoded information in monuments and structures, and created complex systems for passing wisdom between generations. Yet much of their knowledge was still lost. Today, we have digital storage, global communications networks, and countless ways to preserve information. However, the sheer complexity of these systems might make them more fragile than we realize. The archaeological record shows that these prehistoric civilizations didn't disappear overnight. They faced cascading challenges as environmental changes triggered social, economic, and cultural disruptions. Many tried to adapt, modifying their practices and technologies to cope with new conditions. Some succeeded temporarily, while others were eventually overwhelmed. This pattern holds important lessons for our own adaptation strategies. Our modern civilization possesses incredible technological capabilities, but we share fundamental vulnerabilities with our ancestors. Like them, We depend on stable climate patterns for agriculture. Like them, we've built vast infrastructure that could be threatened by environmental changes. And like them, we risk losing crucial knowledge if our social systems face severe disruption. The key difference might lie not in our ability to document knowledge, but in our capacity to act on it. These ancient peoples couldn't predict or prevent the climate changes that transformed their world. We can see our challenges coming, model their likely impacts, and potentially take action to mitigate them. But this advantage only matters if we use it effectively. Perhaps the most crucial lesson from these lost civilizations is the importance of adaptability. The societies that survived major climate transitions weren't necessarily the most technologically advanced, but rather those most capable of adapting their practices and beliefs to new conditions. In our modern context, this suggests that merely documenting our knowledge isn't enough. We must also cultivate the social and cultural flexibility to transform how we live. Their story also reminds us that technological sophistication alone doesn't guarantee survival. Some of these ancient societies possessed knowledge that wouldn't be rediscovered for thousands of years, yet they still succumbed to environmental changes. This suggests that resilience requires more than just technical solutions. It demands social cohesion, cultural adaptability, and the wisdom to recognize when fundamental changes are necessary. The parallels between their challenges and ours offer a unique perspective on our current situation. While we possess far greater technological capabilities than our ancestors, we face similar fundamental challenges in adapting to environmental change. Their experience suggests that our focus shouldn't be solely on preserving knowledge, but on developing the social and cultural tools to use that knowledge effectively in the face of unprecedented challenges. Did you know that across the ancient world, archaeologists have discovered artifacts that seem to defy our understanding of prehistoric technological capabilities? These findings challenge our assumptions about what ancient peoples could achieve and suggest that some prehistoric societies possessed knowledge we're only beginning to comprehend. In Colombia, modern microscopic analysis of ancient arrowheads revealed something extraordinary. These stone tools, dating back thousands of years, show evidence of manipulation at the molecular level. Using electron microscopes, scientists discovered patterns of material modification that shouldn't have been possible with the technology we believed was available at the time. The precision of the work suggests knowledge of material science that wouldn't be rediscovered until the modern era. But Colombia isn't alone in yielding such mysteries. In ancient Egypt, researchers have found evidence of advanced machining techniques in artifacts from the Old Kingdom period. Some stone vessels show marks indicating they were crafted using technology similar to modern machine tools, with precise circular cuts and perfectly straight edges that would be challenging to reproduce even with today's equipment. In India, the Iron Pillar of Delhi presents another technological puzzle. This 1,600-year-old structure has remained virtually rust-free despite centuries of exposure to monsoon rains and harsh weather. Metallurgists studying the pillar have discovered that its surface contains a complex phosphorus-rich layer that protects against corrosion, a sophisticated protective technique that wasn't officially developed until the 20th century. The Antikythera mechanism, discovered in a Greek shipwreck, represents perhaps the most famous example of impossible, ancient technology. This 2,000-year-old device contains gears and mechanisms so precise and complex that nothing comparable would be built for another 1,000 years. It could accurately predict astronomical events and track complex celestial cycles with remarkable precision. In South America, pre-Incan cultures created alloys that modern metallurgists are still trying to fully understand. These ancient metalsmiths developed techniques for treating copper that gave it properties similar to modern bronze, without adding tin or other common hardening agents. The exact methods they used remain a mystery, despite modern analytical techniques. The precision of ancient stonework presents another enduring puzzle. At sites like Pumapunku in Bolivia, massive stone blocks were cut with such accuracy that modern engineers are challenged to explain how it was accomplished without advanced tools. The surfaces are perfectly flat, the angles precise to within fractions of a degree, and the cuts so clean they seem to have been made by machine tools rather than hand implements. Even more intriguing are the numerous examples of ancient concrete that surpass modern materials in durability. Roman maritime concrete, for instance, actually becomes stronger over time when exposed to seawater, a property that modern scientists have only recently begun to understand and still cannot fully replicate. In parts of ancient Scotland and Ireland, researchers have discovered evidence of sophisticated acoustic engineering in prehistoric structures. These sites were designed to produce specific sound effects that demonstrate an advanced understanding of acoustics, knowledge that wasn't supposed to exist in prehistoric times. These discoveries force us to reconsider our assumptions about ancient technological capabilities. While we may not have evidence of the exact methods used to create these artifacts, their existence suggests that some ancient peoples possessed sophisticated technical knowledge that was subsequently lost and only rediscovered centuries or millennia later. Perhaps most remarkably, these examples of advanced prehistoric technology appear across different continents and cultures, suggesting that sophisticated technical knowledge may have been more widespread in ancient times than we previously believed. Each new discovery adds to a growing body of evidence that prehistoric peoples were capable of achievements that continue to challenge our understanding of human technological development. These findings don't just represent historical curiosities, they remind us that human innovation isn't a simple linear progression. Knowledge can be discovered, lost, and rediscovered multiple times throughout history. As we continue to study these artifacts with modern analytical tools, we may find that our ancestors possess capabilities that we're only now beginning to rediscover and understand. As we conclude our journey through the mysteries of prehistoric civilizations, we're left with more questions than answers. The evidence we've examined suggests that the legends of lost advanced societies might be more than mere myths. With each archaeological discovery, we're forced to push back the timeline of human achievement and reassess our understanding of what our ancestors were capable of. The sophistication we've uncovered in ancient astronomical knowledge, architectural precision, medical procedures, and technological innovations challenges our traditional view of human development. These findings suggest that advanced civilizations may have risen and fallen multiple times throughout our species' history, with only fragments of their achievements surviving to tell their story. Think about it. If we found this many traces of advanced prehistoric societies despite the ravages of time, rising seas, and changing landscapes, how many more remain undiscovered? How many civilizations might have existed whose every trace has been erased by natural disasters, climate changes, or the simple passage of time? For every Göbekli Tepe we uncover, how many similar sites lie buried beneath ocean waters or desert sands? Modern archaeology continues to reveal new evidence that forces us to revise our understanding of human history. Satellite imaging technology is identifying previously unknown structures beneath the Earth. Advanced dating methods are pushing back the timeline of human achievements. Underwater archaeology is revealing lost cities and settlements that once stood on lands now claimed by rising seas. These discoveries remind us that human history isn't a simple story of steady progress from primitive to advanced. Instead, it's a complex tapestry of achievements, losses, and rediscoveries. The technological sophistication we're finding in our distant past suggests that humanity may have reached impressive heights of achievement multiple times, only to face setbacks that forced us to begin again. As we stand at the frontier of new archaeological discoveries, we must remain open to the possibility that our ancestors were far more capable than we've given them credit for. The evidence suggests that human ingenuity and achievement have deep roots in our past, with sophisticated societies potentially rising and falling long before the first pages of our written history. But this journey of discovery isn't over. In fact, it's really just beginning. Every new archaeological technique, every advancement in dating technology, every underwater expedition has the potential to uncover more evidence of these lost civilizations. The mysteries of our past are still unfolding, and each discovery adds another piece to this fascinating puzzle. And this is where you come in. If you've been captivated by these mysteries of prehistoric civilizations, if you found yourself wondering about the true extent of our ancestors' achievements, then you're part of a community of curious minds seeking to understand our species' true history. Don't miss out on our upcoming episodes where we'll continue to explore the enigmas of human history. We'll be delving into more archaeological mysteries, examining controversial findings, and questioning established timelines. Each episode brings new insights into our remarkable past and challenges what we think we know about human civilization. Hit that subscribe button right now to join our community of history enthusiasts. Click the bell icon to ensure you never miss an episode. Your subscription helps us continue bringing these fascinating stories to light and supports our ongoing exploration of humanity's hidden history. Share this video with friends and family who share your curiosity about the past. Leave a comment below with your thoughts and theories about lost civilizations. We love hearing your perspectives and engaging in discussions about these fascinating topics. Remember, every like, share, and comment helps spread these incredible stories to a wider audience. Together, we're building a community dedicated to understanding our true history and uncovering the lost chapters of human achievement. Stay curious, keep questioning, and join us next time as we continue our journey through the mysteries of human civilization. The truth about our past is still out there, waiting to be discovered, and we're just getting started. See you in our next episode.